everyone's always looking for a parent when they become an adult in some area.
Everybody's always looking for a parent when they become an adult.
Even at Red Panda, like I am their father figure when it comes to investing. Build brotherhood, like they need consistency of who to go to. Because when you get into the world by yourself, if you don't have a strong family base, that may be an answer that your parents or family does not have. Usually in business, romance, finances, being a father. I'm still asking my dad questions every day about I ask my dad, like, how the hell did you and my mom even stay just to raise me and my brother? No one tells you how hard fatherhood is until you become a father.
Oh, for sure. Parent with husband. It's a whole.
We don't have enough of those conversations. And I wish we had more of those. Like I would love, and I know, shout out to my guys that do it like Steph Cole and King Dre, but I would love to see more men talk about marriage, more black men. Here's how I deal with temptation of cheating. Here's how I deal with friction in the household. That's the content that we really need, not everyone trying to remix Kevin Samuels after he died.
That's a lot of that right now.
That's nasty, yo.
Yeah, that's
and it's
crazy.
like you weren't high value, man, at no time. Your mama told you weren't high value. How are you in high value podcast? Like, no man has to say that, but I get it. It's a space, but people do that when they don't work on a craft to become good at something. Everyone's in here and everyone watching, your job is to be the best in the world at something that no one else can do.
Yeah.
That's where all the wins are.
Welcome to another edition of the Social Proof Podcast, man, where we find dope people that did dope stuff. Long-awaited interview. This is one that I've been looking forward to for a long time. We got Mr. Ian Dunlap here, the master investor. What's happening?
I appreciate you. How you feeling, man?
I'm blessed.
It's an honor to be here, man. I'm proud of you. Studio beautiful.
Thank you.
Whole team amazing. I love that shirt too. Pay me in equity. Big vibes. Pay me in equity.
Well, man, so the master investor. When did you create that tag?
2018. If we're being honest, like my name is boring. Shout out to my mom. She wants to give me like a good name so I can get a job. Right? But from
Ian
a brand
Dunlap it's really corporate outfit. You know what I mean?
Real vanilla. So I was playing with a few ideas, went through like a few iterations on Instagram, and I'm like, I need one that's going to stick out. And I need half of the audience to be upset about it and the other half to love it. And just watching shows, we'll talk about this amazing wall you got up here, but I was watching MasterChef. And I was like, interesting. And I'm like, I tested it and I put Master Investor and instantly my page was like, who do you think you are?
Really?
I was like, yes, it's the one. Because think about it. When you think about investing, you normally think older, middle-aged, white man, definitely no one black, definitely no one that speaks like how I do.
Yeah.
Definitely not from where I'm from. I'm from East Chicago, Indiana. Grew up right by Gary. So it was an interesting contrast, but I knew from a branding perspective, I think it'll work. And here we are, sitting down with you.
For sure an investor, and we'll go through some of that stuff, but it was interesting. I was like, what brought you to Atlanta? And you said you was about to be on Wild 'N Out.
Yeah.
Which
didn't have
I'm sure, like, even people that follow you, Wild 'N Out? Yeah.
Why is it that interesting, though?
You're the master investor, bro.
But if my job is to get my message out to our people, I have to go to where our people watch. So I can't just be like like, okay, here's the dividend play.
Right.
Here's the technology stocks to invest in and crypto's down 20% and capitulations in the market. No one wants to hear that shit all day. So when we're just talking and hanging out, what do we normally do? Crack jokes, rap, have fun. So I think it's just a different way to open up. I mean, shout out to Cliff. We tried to make it happen. I didn't have a real Vax card. The one I sent in looked like a dog made it. It was like, bruh. And they had like a big outbreak 2 weeks ago, so I get the protection
Gotcha.
Of staff and crew.
Was you gonna rap?
Yeah, I rap too.
See, you're just such an interesting person,
some of
bro.
the assets. Like, I think most people on social media want to be seen, so you know this.
Yeah.
They want to be seen so much, they don't work on the primary craft, and they show all the assets really fast. Huge mistake. Like right now, you're looking, love the studio. I've been to a lot of studios. It's not many like this.
Wow.
Right? Number 2, everyone wants to be seen so that they don't reinvest into the business. And
what do you mean?
But well, everyone, I don't want to offend nobody.
Offend them, yeah.
But
let's be good.
That's normally what I do. But people will get money, and then I hate when Black people get a bunch of money and then go spend them on Italian brands to feel significant and stunt on Black people, opposed to building infrastructure, helping, right? So they'll spend the money on watches, cars, clothes, and it's like, why aren't you building, having your family with you, team with you? It's good investment. No, you're good.
Take my watch off.
But you, and also too, like, and I saw your post the other day, I don't see a lot of men in many spaces take care of their fucking kids.
Give me the edited version. Yeah,
I don't see many men take care of their kids.
That's a fact.
Clean version.
Thanks, man.
Clip that up for me. So I think it's just important to reinvest into the brand, reinvest into your people, and not spend on those luxury goods. Yeah.
So you said you gotta hide some of the assets. And I know you up to something too, bro. Because
why you say that?
Because it'd be like the subtle things, like why you be tagging Quavo, or you'll randomly like tag Drake about something, and I'm like, what you doing, bro?
If I say too much, stop me. Shout out to my guy P. He looking like, don't give it up. But I want to dominate, and not just for my own selfish reasons. There's a lot of people we have to help. So they may not listen to me. They may listen to Quavo or Drake or 21 or Dirt. You know what I mean? So like building those relationships and just helping them. Even like when I started working with Charlemagne, helped him out, gave him 4 stocks to invest in. I mean, he said it publicly, thank you for the shout out. I mean, he made 6 figures in 4 or 5 weeks. Never charged him for it. Never got any money on the back end. My thing is always give first. And now as platform is getting bigger, I have to find more ways to reach out. And let's be honest, like, we're Black men who get to partially talk for a living and make money. This is a dream.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm like, why not just go after everything I dreamed about as a kid? So yeah, soundtrack coming soon. Shout out to Murder Beats and Timbaland helping me put it together. So
you ain't got no Timbaland beats on there, bro. What are you talking about right now? What is happening?
Turn my phone on real quick. Let me call Timbaland, see if he pick up.
You're calling?
Let me turn my phone on. We'll see. Give me a second.
All right, yo. Like, you truly do help a lot of people make money. And I know there are people who are like celebrities, because once I saw you with Kevin Hart, I'm like, what? What's happening?
It's power being solid though. Like, Charlemagne set it up, went and did the Breakfast Club interview, went well. But I've also, like, shout out to Weezy, who has Horrible Decisions, help Alex. I help people around him. And then, of course, Troy Rashad mentioned me. Chad from 85 South is mentioning me. So it's like, you ever meet someone that's like, all of your friends know him, but you never met him?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, he kind of cool.
Yeah.
So he was like, hey, I got the show. I want you to come on. Kevin's going to be on. It'll be dope. I'm like, Kevin Samuel's going to be on? What? The Godfather? He's like, no, Kevin Hart. I'm like, oh, bro, I'm not ready. I'm like, he's like, no, you are.
Did you say that?
I told him, bro, I'm not ready for that. He like, you are ready. I'm like, okay. So even in creating and having brand persona, there's still moments when you have fear, doubt. What if I don't do well? What if Kevin cracks on me, right?
Yeah.
And then that segment went well. And then that's when I was like, okay, maybe I can branch out and do some other shows and sketch comedy and things I'm not comfortable with that allow me to get better from that perspective. And Kevin was great. There's a couple things like I learned from him. Very graceful. What his persona that you see, that's him.
Yeah.
Came up and introduced himself to me. Like, I'm like, bro, I know who you are. Like, let me introduce me.
Right.
And I'm like, what advice do you have? He was like, you're here because you know your stuff. Be confident and just do what you've always done. The biggest thing that he saw with comedians and people go on TV, they're not comfortable in their skin, and it shows on camera. You know that when you're going back looking at film. So when people are often timid, it's because they really haven't mastered their information or mastered their craft yet. Right. And then after that, it was game, set, match. So.
Got you. So what year did you get into investing?
2008.
2008.
Like, seriously.
You were how old?
I'm 40 now, so how many years? It's 2022. Somebody do the math for me real quick.
I don't know why I thought you had this number off the top of your head. Like, you are number king. Yeah. So it's 2022. 2002, 2008, that was 20
something.
What's
But
up
this
with
is
us
another
right
thing,
now? The number's not. You were 26. What were you doing? Like, did you go to college?
Yeah, I went to Indiana University.
Did you work a job?
For a little bit. Like, I did it while I was in college, but like post-college, no. I started my first business in college, my junior year.
What was it?
Marketing. Yeah, I had a marketing agency.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's where a lot of these crazy ideas come from. People don't forget, like, me and my guy Ty, we promoted parties while we was in college. So there's a thing called Little 500, which is like all the Greeks, like, run the campus. There's a big bike race. We had a party that we threw against them, not knowing how dumb that was, right? Party was a hit. Did better than their party. Shout out to everybody at IU. Had the marketing agency, so I'm always testing ideas. I'm big on split testing to see which headline, which work, what kind of content will resonate, and test it out. And then from there, I was like, okay, I can either go get a job or I can do it. But my father's an entrepreneur. So seeing him being an entrepreneur since I was a kid, that was like always the right path to go, to have that freedom. And the work that comes with it, as you know, it's a heavy burden to carry, but I'm so thankful that I started that journey earlier. Because if I would have started being an entrepreneur at 40, I wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Too much competition, too hard. I got a chance to start young before I had my child Xander, so it made it a lot easier to build. And I just use all those assets in combination together to get here.
How long you been with UIL?
We've been doing Market Mondays 2 years now.
2 years.
Yeah.
So 2020, you guys get together. What were you doing before then? Just marketing?
No, I had Red Panda, so I was already helping people with stocks and investing.
So you already had Red Panda?
I had Red Panda since 2013.
2013?
Yeah. That's what, listen, can I be honest?
Yes, please.
People put too much emphasis on social media and media because they have no money. So everybody want to be seen and be all in the video, dancing, right? Come to death row. But the way to get there, so people think I popped up out of nowhere. And I was like, okay, I did episode 70 with them, recorded in January of 2020. Then COVID hits, recession comes. I was already in place and preparing since the last recession, studying Dave Ramsey, studying Jim Cramer, studying Mark Haynes. So like when I saw the opportunity, I told Charles Rashad, I'm like, I think this would be a good opportunity just to hop on and do a couple lives and be like, hey, let's help the people out. I can call the prices, tell them where to get in, what to avoid buying. Because when I was watching CNBC in 2007, Cramer was on fire, making calls. And this one, he was in his heyday. But you know, when you are a star at a network like him or Stephen A., they're going to work you into the ground.
Can you explain making the calls, though, just for those who don't understand?
Yeah, that's me telling you what's the best price to get in. The biggest
gap. On
a
stock?
Yes, on the stock. Right. So the biggest gap that I saw is, okay, if I say Boeing is a good company, great. We've all seen Boeing planes. What price do we get in?
That's the question.
Most people don't know.
You know, I guess the narrative, especially in stocks, is like, yo, just get in the stocks. If it's a good company, you just buy that joint. Like, yo, if you got an Apple, you got an iPhone, just buy it. You got an Android, just buy that joint. So you can, you know what I mean?
The people who give that information are the two questions you have to ask anybody that gives you investing or business advice. Do you do this for a living? And can I talk to 3 or 4 people that you've helped? A lot of people talk and they give that kind of advice. And it worked in 2020. Where are they now, though? No shade, no spice for nobody. But everyone who gave that advice, people are down 60 and 70%, while I have people that have made millions in the last 2 years through Red Panda. Like I made 80 people millionaires from scratch, probably helped.
What?
Another 800-900 make 100,000. I mean, I can send you all the clips and y'all can put them in post-production. Like, that's okay, honestly, even at InvestFest.
800 or 900 people make 100,000. You said 80 people became millionaires.
Yeah.
Through investing.
Yeah. Because the thought is investing is boring. You can't make any money. But if you look at it, investing is the way that every major business has been funded. That is the real source of money. So if you do government contracting, if you do real estate, someone else controls your deal flow. In investing, only you control your deal flow. And especially when you combine that with being able to like invest in futures, it is. So that's why like me being in front of the camera, I didn't care about this so much because I'm like, if I can actually make money from pushing buttons, why would I care to be in front of the camera and play that social media game?
So you've been rich.
I have $1.
You know what I thought? And okay, full transparency.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, yo, you got EYL, a machine. They got a dope platform. And then Ian comes on and they build his brand. That's
what I'll let the perception be. So we did the show in partnership. So I came to them and said, because before Market Mondays, there was no other shows on the network.
Yes.
First show.
Hold on, you were the first one. Because I was the first one.
When did you start?
2000. Well, I don't know. Joy was talking about it. Like, they didn't have it yet. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, outside of that, because I looked at them as, for sure. Okay, I got you.
And then
how did the conversation go? Like, talk to me about the conversation of y'all coming together.
The episode 70 went well. And then I was like, I think Rashad made a post like, hey, we want to add some more podcasts to it. I'm like, hey, let's partner. The episode had worked. And everyone initially, when I talk about investing, it's like, man, he don't know what the hell he's talking about. And then it's like 3 months later, it's like, Goldman Sachs says the market's going to... It's like, damn, Ian told me that. Right? So I'm like, okay, let's do a show. And then we started building from there. So like I was in the shadows because I was doing the work. Most people who want to be seen have very little substance. And and here's how you know. Ask any guest, give you and your staff and your team 5 things to help you grow your business 3 to 5x and see what answers they give you. Everybody talk. And everybody got reposts and replays and content and perfect webinars and shit. Watch these comments. If I've made you money, when this comes out, put yes in chat. That's the real test. And to be honest, from a content maker's perspective, that is a potential liability. Because what if I say it and people are like, man, Ian lost me $83,000.
That's a potential liability. Because everything's recorded.
Absolutely. And they'll be able to clip it up and go back. Right? So my thing has always been help the people first. That is what builds the brand. It's not the media. And then on top of that, me knowing my craft inside and out, like I'll still look at the market 12 hours a day.
Really?
Yeah. Like,
yo, okay. I just want to like talk on the partnership real quick, but I really need to know how you know this stuff. Because it's something my mind can't really I can't wrap my mind around how you know what the people are going to do in a company and how it's going to, I just don't understand.
I'll tell every creative, I'll ask you, how do you know what questions to ask, how to frame the studio, what camera equipment to buy, how to edit, and then produce content. It's just time in. Because you're the same way. You put in a lot of work. You may not be all over social like everybody else 15 times a day, but you're doing the work, right?
Yeah.
Set's always been beautiful. Shout out to Montel and Arsenio up here, right? But it's just time in the market. So like when you actually study something, so for me in marketing, I knew I had to know psychologically and emotionally how to move people. So when you study the best brands of all time, they were always able to do that. But and people don't like the blueprint, but I'm like, read 50 pages a day, every day.
50?
That's light. Can we have an honest conversation? If you want to be rich, the bare minimum, and that's why like a lot of the things that I come off and say is shocking, like either I can tell the truth or give the answers for good content. Good content is 8 pages a day. And go drink all the Douce you want.
We on a strong,
and you'll be rich.
Our book club, we on a strong 10 here. So just tread lightly, brother. Now keep going. Give me the truth.
50
minimum. Pages a day.
All right, listen. Every single week, every episode, you hear me talking about themorningmeetup.com. It's the community. Let me show you what's happening here. Every single morning, Monday through Friday, there's 400 plus people on a Zoom call, right? We're learning, we're talking, we're growing together, and this is you. There's all these people here. It's all these people in the morning meetup. Hundreds of people reading books, growing. We get together quarterly. It's amazing. And for some reason, you just keep looking at, just go to themorningmeetup.com and get in the circle. And then you'll be like way happier. Just themorningmeetup.com. Let's get back to the episode.
Because as Black people, we're already behind in every business category. Every. So if we have competitors that are doing minimum of 50, so like in my heyday, 2009, 2010, I was probably reading 400 or 500 pages a day. Like,
where do you find the time, bro?
You make what's the alternative to be broke? You got kids. So for me, I'm not going, like, look how stupid, like, imagine my son is here at 15. And I'm like, I could have provided for you, but I didn't want to read 50 pages, but I was going through OnlyFans and IG. You know how dumb that sounds? That's what I'm like, everyone is trying to, here's the easy formula to getting rich in business. No. How many hours a day do you work?
Hours. We be in here every day.
12, 13 hours?
Oh, at least.
I wish there was a way to like automate content and AI can take our voice and make 20. It doesn't work that way. So we have to and then also studying the market every day. Look at all the companies in the Dow 30. So the Dow has like a basket of 30 companies.
What is the Dow?
The Dow Jones is like an index. So a basket. They just put together the 30 best companies in America and they made an index out of it. So it's like an all-star team. Think of it that way.
Yo, I literally never knew that.
Yeah.
Because people talk about the Dow Jones. I don't know. Who is Dow Jones? Is that a person?
There were two founders of the company and made the index to make it a lot easier.
Good. I didn't want to go down the rabbit hole, but I had to ask. But I just thought it was, honestly, I don't know what I thought it was. Mm-hmm. But the Dow Jones is the 30 best companies
in America.
Yep. How often does it like renew? Like,
if a company isn't doing well, and let's say it underperforms, they'll rotate them out, and like an all-star team, they'll bring a new player in.
How often does that happen?
It depends on the qualities of the company and what the current price is. Gotcha. Like, because they have to go through voting and selection of companies to have stability in the index, but it doesn't happen often. But we may start to see some furniture moving.
Right.
Since we're in this recession, 2008, they moved some around. I think in 2012, they moved some around as well.
So is the Dow Jones something you can invest in?
Absolutely.
So you invest in the Dow Jones, but that seems like it'd be a safe bet then, I'd imagine.
It is. I always tell everyone the easiest formula for investing is to invest in 2 index funds, so like the Dow, S&P 500, and then 2 technology companies. I always recommend Apple and Microsoft. And every creator's like, why Apple? I'm like, Apple built their business off the back of creators. Mm-hmm. Pro Tools, all the tools that you can use to create, but most investors don't, or most creatives don't invest in the products that they're buying, which is a huge mistake.
But, all right, so you're saying now we need to invest in 2 technology companies.
Mm-hmm. The 2 biggest.
The 2 biggest.
Yep.
Are you saying you can do that whenever? Or are you saying...
If you want the best returns, I'll always give the prices when to buy in. These are the prices that I'm looking to get in for myself. So I'll tell you the prices where to get in. Like, I'll text you every month if you want me to. And then I can buy it specifically at this price so you can get the best. Because, like, when you're buying these Shure mics and y'all got center lenses and stuff, like, you're not buying at any price. You want to get a deal. So you're on B&H or whatever site. If you edit them, you may wait for the deal on DaVinci Resolve. It's the same thing in buying stocks. When people tell you to buy at any time, it's because they don't want to give you the real price to buy in so you can truly have wealth. They want you to become a client. My thing is I want to front load the wins. So if I decide to go run for president, or if I want to partner with Universal or be on Wild 'N Out, my leverage is I've already helped you.
Okay. So give me one of your greatest calls.
Of recent, I called Bitcoin going to 20,000 when it was at 59,000. The entire world thought it was crazy. And
that sounds crazy. How do you know, bro?
And when it got to 20,000, I said it was going to recover in 63 days. It recovered in 62. This is all documented.
Yo, I know we got to read the 50, right? But how do you, like, give me all the information that you're coming together to be able to pinpoint a price. So, blueprint, the whole Bitcoin thing.
Okay, yeah.
In the 63 days, that's very specific.
Because that was like what he doesn't know. Because you know how, like, our community can be rough with us.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, he don't know. I don't even like how he delivered the information. He arrogant. So I'm like, okay, let me tell you the number of days that it's going to recover in. And then for me, that's an exercise in trust. Because what's happened historically in our community, somebody will give information and it may work 1 or 2 times and then we end up losing everything. So our guard is up. So I have to go through a few more barriers of trust than most people have to do. But the blueprint is looking at your craft every day, 12 hours a day for 7 years, and you'll be good. Now, if you want to look, okay, and here's the blueprint. If LeBron is your favorite player, and we're in game 6 of the NBA Finals, you can go and see on average how many points he scores in a game 6. I treat the market the same way. So I'm writing down the prices every day, marking off where they are, and tracking, okay, if we fall 33%, how often does it take a top 5 company to recover to get back to a high versus a company that's in the Russell 2000 and maybe number 583 on the list? It's time in. People don't, and that's not the viral, sexy answer. But if you really want growth, financial freedom, that's the real key. So go ahead.
So specifically Bitcoin, give me like some things that you knew what were going to happen that's going to affect this drop. Or are you saying it's going to drop every so often?
Yeah, I mean,
anyway?
it drops but everything rolls on a cycle. So when it became popular and we heard about it, I was telling everyone, all the hedge funds are buying it. So knowing when the hedge funds are going to buy an asset or a stock allows you to understand timing, because if capital comes in, they have to put that money to use every 3 months. Because they can't, if they get $40 million or $2 billion in from a client, they can't sit on it from a year. They have to deploy it.
Mm-hmm.
That was number one. Number two, like I have a system for knowing where prices are going to go. Some people call it the crystal ball, but I'm literally marking off. And the worst case scenario, this is a great tip for everyone. In the worst case scenario for every asset you buy, a business, equipment, real estate, what's the absolute lowest price you should buy that asset to give you the greatest return? Because all your victories and all your wins are going to come on a price that you buy, not the asset that you get.
But I mean, we could say that the best price is $1, right? But some things aren't going to be that.
Everything has a floor though. So marking off where those floors or those bottoms in the market are is the key thing. Most people want to just buy and gamble. And that's the truth. The discipline that's required to be good, people don't want to sacrifice. But I don't know about everybody else in the room. I've been broke. So like when lights are off and like you ever like went into a cupboard or a cabinet and nothing was in there and you closed it and prayed to God the food to be in there and opened it back up.
Just make sure you ain't missed nothing.
Right? And then I could have swore some crackers in the corner somewhere for me. And then when 2008 came, my friend Art made a ton of money in the market. He was the first Black person I ever saw like be excited when the market crashed. I'm like, why the hell are you happy? Gas was like $4.23. I was living here at the time, so I'm driving from Midtown going to Alpharetta, Norcross. I'm like, gas killing me, bro. How are you making money? He's like, it's the best time to buy. So he knew how to trade and invest. And he was like, Black people are the only people, when a recession hits, we don't treat it as an opportunity. We treat it as a disaster. And he worked at JP Morgan. So he started showing me what he knew. Like, I think Art bought Citi at 97 cents, 99 cents. Like, he still retired off those investments in 2022 from that. So that's when I was like, I'll never miss another recession. I'll never miss another opportunity. I'm just going to study, build, put all, like the Kobe thing. Floyd Mayweather, all the signs of it, Steve Jobs, Michael Jordan, Kobe, Tiger Woods, any great, Oprah, all had the same schedule, 12 hours a day. There's no balance. You have to pick whether you want to be great at something or not.
They all have the same schedule.
Got the same opportunity, as most people are not consistent enough, long enough to be able to manifest what they truly want.
Yeah. So, dang, you still put 12 hours a day in. And I mean, obviously,
you have to. Okay, why haven't you let up? You have a successful podcast, you're known, you're liked, you're respected. Why don't you do 4 hours a day? Because it's somebody like him who gonna sit and do 13 hours and be like, I remember when you used to work hard.
Yeah.
Now I'm to be honest, everyone that started with me, I was probably the least likely to get invested. Everyone I started with, I passed up just by putting the time in.
You're throwing parties at college, college, right?
Yeah.
So when did we start understanding financial literacy? Or not financial literacy as a whole, but stocks specifically?
2008, like I knew of the stock market, but I didn't have a formula. So a lot of the things that I do now and give is the things that I wish that I knew from day one. Like how to evaluate a company to know if a company is good or bad. When to buy, when to get out, how long to hold. Those things were not commonly taught. And truth be told, they're not supposed to be taught.
Why do you say that?
Because if you have a process that only you have in the world, why would you give it to the world for free? Even financial literacy. I think financial literacy is overrated. I really do. Because you can learn a lot of the wrong stuff. There's a lot of information that sounds good and makes no money.
Give me an example.
Some debt is good in moderation. That sounds good unless you've had debt called. If you've ever had a loan and a company or a bank has said, okay, I know we say we'll allow you to make payments for 5 years, but we want the full $35,000. You have 2 months. That is a crippling feeling.
So you're saying you don't operate with debt?
No.
You don't leverage debt at all?
No. That's why I can talk the ish that I do. Because a lot of people are levered up to their eyeballs in business and personal. Now, are there things that you can do to help? Yeah, but that sounded good in 2020. Right now, everyone that I know that has all those millions of dollars of debt, they're stressed out. They are stressed out. It is a cancer in your business and in your personal life.
It's different schools of thought, though, because Grant Cardone, he talks
Shout
about
out to Grant, shout out to Jared.
Billionaire. He's talking about like, yo, I want more debt. Like, I want debt.
Is that company debt
Trumps
or is that personal?
Probably company.
And also, too, the first thing you named was not somebody of our color.
I didn't name any people of our color.
Why? Let's say Grant fund one of them, and I don't think they will. Shout out to Grant and Jared. But let's say if he owns $200 million in debt and a fund goes under, he'll be able to go through underwriting and get that loan written off or restructured. If that happens to you, you got to pay the $200.
Yeah.
Marcus is going to have to pay the $200. Neo is going to have to pay the $200. The rules are different for us.
Mm-hmm.
So when I saw Dave Ramsey build his media company, and that's why he's very opinionated too. Like, and I'm going to be very honest, the people who don't want to tell you the truth are the people that are usually slaves to debt on other corporations. So Dave will speak freely because he's operating from a debt-free perspective as well. I don't think all of the advice is the best, but the debt-free piece is very key. Very key. It gives you freedom. It allows you to be more creative because when you have a ton of... We've all been there when we were broken, old credit cards or, even like my sophomore year in college, they'll call and try and collect. I'm like, Brian, God, I ain't going to give it to you. That's going to ruin your credit. I was like, it was ruined when I got here.
Right.
So be it. But now you're only thinking about, well, let me take this deal or do this sale so I can pay off this debt, and you're still at zero.
Mm-hmm.
If you keep the expenses really low, debt really low, it allows you to thrive and elevate.
If you're going to buy an apartment complex or something like that,
you got to use
10 million, 5 million.
Yeah.
So that's...
You have to have a plan to pay it off fast, though.
Right. So you're talking more so personal debt.
Personal. Even in my business, though, I have no debt in my business.
But I guess it doesn't cost you anything to... Your motto is unique.
Is it?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Bro. What would you need debt for? I'm saying, so if one, you know how to make money from the market, you're leveraging your own money.
Yeah.
Cool. And then you have a community where you're teaching them, they pay you the money. You don't got to pay much to house these people.
Well, you got technology costs and hosting costs. And,
Zoom.
That stuff is small, but not as bandwidth increases, they got total of 40,000 people on Red Panda. So when you're uploading content.
You have 40,000 people on Red Panda?
Yeah. Shout out to the rebellion. That's when I like being a quiet person. All the quiet people, okay, everyone knows Bezos and Buffett. Can you name me 5 people, anybody in here from the Saudi family that net worth is in the trillions? The real money is quiet. Wealth is really, 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 really quiet. Everyone who's the loudest that pretends they have the most money have no power and no real capital. We see it all the time in the music industry. And I want us to get to a place where we can build things that are very massive, very quietly, so we can have a real impact.
So tell me about Red Panda real quick, because the fact that 40,000 people are there, it says something. Because you can't triple with 40,000 people joining your community.
No.
What happens in Red Panda? Like, take me inside the house.
So you come in. So I have a couple of different programs. Like one is a trading program, Sniper, giveaway for free, to give back to the community. But Stock Club is like the main product. I tell you the best 8 companies to invest in. I tell you the prices, where to get in, tell you where to get out, when to get into Bitcoin, Ethereum, ADA. We have a weekly call. I mean, this call this past week, we were on it for 4 hours from like 9. We started at 9:30. We was on 4 hours.
Really?
Yeah, it was amazing.
And you be in there, rumbling.
Oh, yeah. It was amazing. Like a vibe. Like super energetic. And just sharing advice from not only myself, but from other people, and they get to ask questions. So that's like my main, I grew up in the church, so like that's what I call like my secular sermon. So like we're there together in fellowship every week. And then, as people elevate, if they want to learn how to trade, like I'll mentor them and show them how to trade the futures market.
How much is the Stock Club?
Right now, 10 grand.
10,000 for Stock Club. And how much is the higher level?
Higher grand, to be honest, man, I haven't had the higher program. When I had it, it was for 40, but I haven't had it out maybe for a year and some change.
So Red Panda is all these 3 tiers, right, of people. And
which most of people can get for free if they tune in to Market Mondays every Monday. I'll give you the advice for free. But even that, people will criticize, you charge too much. How could you for the culture? I'm like, I'm the best at investing.
The best.
Excluded
nobody?
Nobody. Humbly. Clip this up. So even in that, like having hot takes are okay if you can back them up with truth. I'm the only person, Black, white, Asian, any race, that's ever asked publicly, if I've made you money, please declare it. And they always do. That's why they're there.
What about Kramer? Kramer's got a track record.
If you're an investor and trader, you know, but this goes back to the media overworking them. If you're on set for 12 hours because he's a star, and he's probably the most preeminent star on CNBC, when do you have time to research? So even with that, the networking game and media, and I asked a question on the show, and then I asked Button the same thing. I'll ask you, how many podcasts make $1 million a year or more?
Yes, I'm so glad we're in this conversation. There's a bunch.
No.
There's a bunch.
A bunch? Define a bunch.
I mean, relative to the freshness of the industry.
The industry's not new. Podcasting has been out since 2005.
Yeah, but there's a lot of stuff that have been out, but it's not like out. So let's say hip hop is out in the 70s, right? But nobody's really.
Are we saying it's new because Black people just got into it?
It's becoming more mainstream, yes. Podcasting has experienced tremendous growth.
Absolutely.
So
okay, well, let me ask you this. How many podcasts allow them the freedom to work on a podcast full-time?
Say it one more time.
How many podcasts make enough money to be full-time from them? And I'm going to tie back into the Kramer point. My point is with media, if you're doing so much media, you don't get to focus on your craft, then how are you good at the craft and how can you give advice on it? People tell me all the time, you should do more shows. You should do another show about this. And I'm like, but if most media companies are not making money, why would I focus on, like Paul Tudor Jones? He's the king of futures trading. That's the asset class I trade. Paul Tudor Jones makes $31 million a month trading. You think I want to do more shows?
31
so
million.
Everyone has, you can Google him. He made $100 million in 1987 in a Black Friday crash. If I ask most people, would you rather do that or make more shows? Everybody in the space would be like, I'll do that. So I feel like a lot of times when people are like, we'll do more media, it's like, you want me to take my eye off the goal of that. Because if I put Warren Buffett and Tudor Jones together, which is my model, like even on the future side, if we trade 33 contracts, this is a good target for everyone to write down. If the market falls, an easy target if you want to short the market, which is the profit when the market is going down, you can go for 523 points on NASDAQ and down all day. That 33,
I don't understand anything you just said.
If the market falls, you can profit from the market falling.
Yes.
So if you take 33 shares or contracts and it falls 523 points, in the futures market, you can make $86,000 in one day.
How much are the 33 contracts?
You tell me what you think they cost and I'll answer you.
1,000?
More than 16,500
each.
No, total for all 33. It's 500 per contract.
What contract though?
To be able to trade the asset, because you can't hold them for long term. So anytime you're doing a short term trade, you have contracts opposed to shares. Shares mean ownership. Contracts usually mean, that's why most artists, creatives are given contracts and not equity.
Listen, if I was going to teach you how to make $1 million, would you give me 10,000? Like if I had a course teach you how to make $1 million a year positive, you're going to make $1 million, would you give me 10,000? Of course you would. It's no brainer, right? So in a calendar year, we make 7 figures with the podcast. But there's 21 things that I extracted from that you're going to need to launch a podcast. But I only got time to give you 3 right now. One is you need a distribution platform. The distribution platform is what you upload your podcast to. That platform sends it to Spotify, Apple, Google Play, so that your supporters can actually listen to your podcast. You're also going to need a microphone. You need a really good microphone so it's crispy audio. And 3, you need an income strategy. This is not necessarily a hobby, unless you're going to make it a hobby. But I can teach you how I made the 7 figures with these 21 things. Now, the good news is you don't have to give me 10,000. My ebook is only $37, okay? So listen, go to podcastebook.com and get the 21 things that you need. And I can explain it in detail, all the things that you need, okay? Podcastebook.com. Let's get to the episode.
So now when I'm having my meetings with CAA Live Nation, I'm like, why are you giving me a talent contract if I'm financing all my stuff? I want an executive's contract. I want a long-term equity deal. I need royalties and things on the back end, but I want to, and this is why it's really key for us to invest. If we are investing in the biggest companies in the world, when we go to a network, and let's say we did a show, we went to Apple, if we're a shareholder in Apple, there are certain deals that they now cannot give us because now we can fund things out of our own capital. What I don't want to see in this podcasting space is for everyone, and it's going to happen, everyone is going to go through the 360 in a podcasting space because they couldn't make it a rap. Seeing it right now. I even posted a clip about labels day trading artists, and Leor Cohen was like, our culture. Everybody got so mad at Leor saying our culture. But if we don't own any of it,
it's not
our culture anyway. Same thing is happening in podcasting. Everybody got a show about nothing. Cool. Why is no one talking about how to structure deals, though, to get equity and truly have ownership? It's a huge mistake. And I don't want us to walk into a burning building. So my point with Kramer, I love Kramer, but doing media 12 hours a day will disintegrate your talent and your gift.
It kind of, though, allows you to work on the craft of being able to take an idea and communicate it, which, I mean, obviously just isn't as important as knowing the stuff, but...
You know what communicates it really well? When I go on stage and there's like 11,000 people and I'm like, if I made you money, can I get a hell yeah? And 11,000 people like, hell yeah, we love you. Because the fanfare that I get is from results. It's not from,
because they love your personality.
My personality is terrible.
You have a great personality.
Attitude terrible. Rant, but for creators, you have to learn how to either excite our audience or entice them purely with intellect. I know for most people, even if the information is amazing, they're not going to tune in for an hour if I'm very melancholy or bland. You look at these people up here. Letterman, Steve Harvey, shout out to Steve. Shout out to Arsenio, Howard Stern, Montel, Angie, Nori, Dave. We was with Dave last year. That's Button.
Yeah.
Shout out to my dog. All of those have incredible, exciting personalities. I think Charlie Rose is probably the best interview out of all of them. Charlie Rose, very bland though. So learning how to take something that is perceived to be bad, like ranting, and turn it into an asset. When you look at the people who are here, all these are very excitable personalities and people. So yeah, you can work on a craft, but the craft has to be the craft first. And even if you're in media, your primary craft is to not get screwed in your deals in media. Not this. Not the microphone. As to what happens behind the scenes.
I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree with that. I mean, but obviously studying business is important. But I think I'm in the studio so often because I get better by doing it, right? I get better by having an idea and and I have to practice the fact that you're saying something
Mm-hmm.
and I have a question about it. But
Yep.
the last thing you said is very interesting too. So I have to like address that, then not forget.
And loop it back in.
Yeah. But I mean, you only get that through actually doing it. There's not a whole lot of studying you can do to be able to do that. If that is
you have
craft.
to make it part of the company culture. And I'm going to be very honest. If you haven't had someone that's a guest help you with that, it's because they don't want you to elevate.
What do you mean?
Have an hour when you guys are in here where you literally just go through how to build the business and make it better. But you should have every guest that's in here give you 1 or 2 tips to help the business acumen of the company and yourself.
We might as well just start right now.
Better.
Let's just start right now.
Let's go.
It makes sense. Okay. So I've got the morning meetup, right?
Mm-hmm.
Morning meetup is
amazing concept, by the way.
Man, thank you. Yeah. Thank you. And I truly enjoy it. Every month we have a different theme. And every day is supported the theme of the month. So last month we did 31 days of content creation. So every day we're talking about creating content, being able to put your idea together, how you make money from your content, things of that nature. Mm-hmm. We have about 1,000 people in it. And I need to get it to 10,000.
Why? Would you rather have 10,000
A bunch of reasons.
Or 2,000 that are super dedicated that are going to execute, grow, and expand?
Well, here's the thing. The thing that helped me in my growth has always been community. Mm-hmm. The more people in a community that I can connect with, because if there's 100 people in a room, I might connect with 1 or 2. Mm-hmm. If there's 10,000 people in a room, I might find my whole crew of people, and it's like 20 of us, 30 of us, 40, 100 of us, and we get together. We need to have a safe place that if you are in Ohio, there's at least 20 people in Ohio that you can connect with on a regular basis. Yeah. For me, it hasn't, what's moved the needle is one part, yes, information, but what's been more impactful than information is community. Being able to see it. Because you grab stuff, not...
Absolutely.
It's caught, not taught all the time. So...
Is it paid?
Yeah, $79 a month.
You may not like the answer, but you should do it free for 2 months. I don't like it either, but I do Market Mondays every week for free. I'm giving hedge fund level information out for free that I could, if I want to put in the course, I can charge 20 grand for it. If I take to a hedge fund, I can charge 300,000 a month. Give it away for free. So I think if you truly want to get to 10,000, I would do 1 per week on YouTube for free for 3 months, and then 1 a month in person for free for 3 months. You'll get there.
Okay. Well, here's the thing.
Because all the thing you're doing is building a funnel.
For a while, we did a $1 trial. $1 for 7 days. Come leave, but
do it completely for free.
But it gives a different quality. I don't want to say people quality, but a different type of person. If you want people serious.
It's trade-offs. That's why actually, if you want 1,000 or 2,000 people that are dedicated, or 10,000. Now, if you want 10,000 quality people, you may have to do a full multinational campaign around that. And it can be done.
Okay, break that down. You talking good right now.
So I'll ask you, what percentage of your audience is white in the morning meetup versus other races?
It'd be us is in there. We in there. We in that thing.
That's dope. Now, if we bring that culture, include other people in, especially in the comedy space like in LA, a lot of them need help. So if you go there, podcasting is getting big in other countries. I won't say which ones. We talk offline. Now, if you target them, you can grow a lot faster. Now, if you want to monetize it, or do you want monetization on it for your company, or do you just want the growth? Because I have different answers if you want to do.
Let's go through growth first. Obviously, monetization is important. Yeah. But let's go through growth first.
What does the morning meetup give them that nothing else or no other person on planet Earth can give them?
Consistency. Live. Every day. So I'm there every day.
Gotcha.
Or we'll have a guest speaker. Will you come on one morning?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. So like really almost all of our guests have been on. They get connections with people as well. We have a book club where, that's what I'm saying, we read about 10 pages.
10 is good. Just add 40 for them in the afternoon. And then you can say, hey, here's the blueprint to having a successful podcast up and running in 30 days. And now you get a lifetime of support. Because for me, same thing with Red Panda, community is everything. And I continuously pour into them. But if you want growth, 10x growth, you're going to have to open up that pipeline and do something for free. Now, on a monetization, it is a huge mistake. And I probably shouldn't say this publicly. You can stop me if you need to. It is a huge mistake for your company to not have equity in these podcasts.
Equity in podcasts that I'm working with.
On the morning meetup.
Well, it's not necessarily all. It's different entrepreneurs, not focused on podcasting specifically. It's just entrepreneurs that make
a
less
bunch
than
of them get into
$250,000.
media after coming in.
100%.
That's the revenue growth part.
But then again, I have to
No, you don't. Because if you have a blueprint, we always think we have to exchange our time for money. That's the number one thing as an investor you don't have to do. You want to make your money work for you to create more time. So if you're giving them a blueprint, because I want us to stop saying podcasting. Because Hollywood has tricked us into turning, y'all shooting 4K, 6K, 60 frames a minute, editing. That's a production.
It is a production.
They got us shooting mini films and it's just a podcast, so we're going to devalue it. No. Because once you actually see what the TV ratings are, some shows only getting 30,000 views per episode. You got shows that'll do that your first 2 hours when they come out. So would you, if you own Netflix, have Stranger Things on for free and then not get any of the back end?
No.
Then why are you doing it here in podcasting?
Well, okay.
It's the same thing.
So you're saying I need to create a model where if I'm teaching people, let's say specifically podcasting.
Or anything.
They come in and I get equity in the podcast.
If I help you grow 10x, why am I not able to get 1x from me helping?
But you don't do that in Red Panda.
Not directly, but I do have clients, and then for the people that I help for free, that's part of the marketing. So if I help Charlemagne and I help Chad from 85 and Nick Cannon, they'll spread the message so far that other people will come in. So it's great. So you pick the ones you help for free. Yeah. And that's why I said, if you want to grow your business, do a lot of it for free. Yeah, it's going to be some knuckleheads you deal with. Because I deal with them from time to time. And I let them know how I feel about them. But if you want 10x growth, you're going to have to do some more stuff for free. And then you got to tie in. And I haven't done it yet. But anybody that I work with on the trading side, for sure, I get equity in. Every company that I'm about to work with and partnership with now, definitely going to get equity. I know the Goldman Sachs, Citadel, JP Morgan, Facebook, appreciate you. So you have to. Business model trumps everything. They get us to focus on the flashy part. And we see it in rap because we fall for the same tricks. Right. Get this, get the car. And it's you're 15 years into your career and you're I went through 9 chains and 10 cars and 2 baby mamas and 3 IG models and 17 OnlyFans girls and down pay the tuition for these kids. Business model. That's when people are podcasting. No, it's not. Media is old.
Yeah.
Media is old. Thousands of years old. Modern media broadcasting, at least 200 years old. I'm surprised at the number of people in podcasting who haven't read Ted Turner's story or done a deep dive on Joe Rogan. I've talked to Button endlessly. Shout out to him, Corey, Ian, the whole team.
I want to talk to Joe Button. I was actually, I was on his live. I was like, yo, how much would it cost me to have a conversation? Take it to dinner or something like that. You $10,000. I don't know if he'd take it, but
if
Ian called him though.
Go to New York and go to Starless real quick.
Where?
Take him to Starless, the strip club. You know. Joe will go. I'll set something up, but just studying the business of it. Because even with him, I'm hey, if you're innovating in the space, there's certain things that you should be able to do. There's challenges with growth, though. You've seen him go through it and try and figure it out, but the space isn't new.
Well,
the labeling of it is new, but that's to brainwash us to get it, to make us see it be worth less than.
But think of it this way: we've never had, for one, the last 100 years, most of the money for advertising have been going into radio, and $1 billion just went into podcasting last year. But we've never really had a time in history, where, well, maybe not, because in radio it's maybe somewhat, but where someone would be listening to simply a voice all day long for hours on a regular basis.
Yeah.
That's kind of like a new thing. People will watch it. Even when there was radio, this was stationary. It's not you take your radio with you everywhere. I'm with people in my podcast and your podcast while they're at the gym. They Start it, stop it when they go into a meeting,
So
come back.
doesn't it make it worth more? Because if I went into
100%.
Netflix and said, hey, they watch my show for 16 hours a day.
Yeah.
That's worth more than Pretty Little Liars.
100%.
You have to value it as such.
Here's what I love so much about podcasting is because it's not regulated yet. In terms of like, it's young. Yo, if I have a song and I upload it to Spotify and I get 100,000 downloads, 1 million downloads, I'll make a bunch of money.
Yeah.
1 million downloads on a podcast, Spotify doesn't give you a dime. They don't give you a dime. I was about to sign up for iHeart, right? Because I'm going to put my podcast on iHeart. And in the contract, it says, yo, we can sell advertisements against your show, but we're not going to give you any money.
Against that. Yeah, I've always said. That's why, like, the only sponsor on Market Mondays is Ally. That's because I actually use them. But I'm like, if I have a product, why the hell I need a sponsor? I don't believe in that. And if I'm an advertiser, I can sell my own advertising on my show.
Yeah.
And against Red Panda. So I think it's a lot of mistakes that people are making. And I agree, but
we're in a good industry, bro. We're young in what we're I understand media has been around forever. But this new, like, little corner of the world called podcasting.
But how long do you think it'll be new? Because, I mean, even if you study Gimlet Media, there's been some companies that have made, and this is why it's important to study business. So like, Chris Sacca, like, originally, I tried to get my family to invest in Facebook and the family and friends round. Couldn't do it. Chris Sacca did.
What? Hold on. Did you invest in Facebook?
I tried. I couldn't get the money for it.
How much did they want?
$125,000.
Really?
Oh, they had like $33 million off of it.
Dang.
So
what's next? Hold that point. Don't forget where you're going. But what's happening right now in a friends and family round that you would recommend? Or something you can tell me offline.
Can't touch that. Yeah, he said no. So I gotta answer that offline.
I was waiting for the buzzer to chime in because he's been quiet lately.
I was gonna give it, but we'll wait. But that's what pushed me. It was a good lesson in it. 2, learn how to create pitches where people cannot say no. Number 2, never be in a position to have to need something that's a life-changing opportunity and the money isn't there. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm like so serious about investing. But Chris Sacca did. Chris Sacca's made, I don't know, probably $300-400 million off his investments from those early rounds. He's the one who put the money into Gimlet. So when people are saying podcasting is new, they're labeled. Like, okay, you have rap, now you have drill rap. It's all the same thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't want us to say that it's young, because normally the industry takes advantage of young artists and put us in bad deals and say, well, your metrics or your viewership isn't there, or they're not listening long enough, so I can't give you this kind of deal. So we're going to use your property and move ads against it. But if I come in with viewership, with listenership, with fan base and ads, what can you tell me?
Yeah.
So I don't want us to be so caught up in the newness of it that we get robbed how we always do in the industry when we come into it, saying that it's new.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. But you believe in media right now?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But
if it's done right, I think most people are just doing it the wrong way.
Give me 2 of the biggest mistakes. And we talked about a lot today. Mm-hmm. But for me, okay, we'll just make it, there's no cameras here. Yeah. What are, like, because you've seen me and I've been around. Mm-hmm. What are some mistakes you think I'm making?
Honestly, I think
my anxiety is going through the roof. Like, what I don't like.
That's why I always ask: do people want the honest answer, or do they
give
want
me the honest? Give it to me, bro.
I think you are afraid to step into your greatness. But I get it, because I'm the same way in some ways. You focus so much on the craft of that we live in an era where the craft of just isn't good enough. You're better than most podcasters who put out content. You know that.
Oh, thank you.
I think you need to go harder on the marketing of it, though. And make the try. So for me, when people's like, yo, he charges too much, and lesson I always learned, your haters are going to be your best consultants. Mm-hmm. So anytime you get a criticism, don't be mad at it. Yeah. I keep everything negative anyone's ever said in a Google Doc. Those are all the ideas. So when people said I was charging too much, all right, let me put out a training program for free. 25,000 people, 6 months, for free. Sniper 2 will be coming out soon, for free, for the culture, right? Does everybody care about culture that we don't own, right? So you have to go harder on the marketing, and I would dial in more on creating fire 1-minute clips. The biggest mistake I see everybody making in the media, everything's too long. Everything's too long. If I have to pick between Gilly and Wallow, Budden, Steve Harvey, Market Mondays, you, Trap, Brittany Renner when she has a meltdown in the car, Vlad, Adam 22, OnlyFans, Game of Thrones. I don't have enough time to watch all of, and I'm dedicated.
Yeah.
I probably listen to 30 podcasts a week.
Word.
2X, 3X, go through. Like the ones I listen to, 1X or 1.5, I listen to Button all the time. I'll listen to Oprah Super Soul Sunday. I'll listen to Tim Ferriss. Everything else I'm like, because I want to get through the information faster. There's too much content out and it's too long.
Too much and too long. Or do you put a whole lot out shorter?
Singles in the music business. No podcast has singles. And I probably shouldn't even be saying this, but do I have to listen to Biggie's double album on the first run? Or can I get hypnotized?
Yeah.
No podcast. And I know people will clip it up, but no one has really mastered 1 minute punchy. Here's 60 seconds. Here's advice to help you do da-da-da-da.
Are you saying including yourself?
Yeah. That's intentional though. I always play and I'm gonna just be real honest. A lot of the ideas that I have, I kept in the tuck because I wanted everybody to shoot their shot, and everybody shot their shot too fast. And now it's like, that's all y'all had? I did all this planning and all this build up to drop that? Because everyone thinks everything that I say is crazy, except for the people who run the world. Watch in 3 months, you're going to see someone who is literally the biggest, Rogan, Tim Ferriss level, going to put out a podcast. It's 2 minutes.
You know what's crazy? I have a, I just implemented maybe like 4 weeks now, right? It's called 5 Minute Fridays.
Yeah, I seen that.
So we're just like punching because I'm trying to touch everybody where they are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And hopefully some people say, yo, I only really listen to them
and
on
they'll
Fridays.
funnel in. Yeah. And if people only listen to clips, why not give it to them? Like, listen, most men ain't lasting 5 minutes in other areas they like either. Give them 2 minutes. Give them what they can deliver. Hey, 1 minute, you can get it done. Every man on earth can do 1 minute. Every man can't do 52 minutes worth of quality. Ladies, just to know. Right? 1 minute. Quality control. You know what I mean? So, shorter content, and then it has to have more information that transforms their life. A lot of people are just putting out podcasts because I didn't know this. Most men are putting out podcasts because they don't have no women in real life. So it's different because we actually take care of our kids, so we don't need to be in front of the camera all the time. A lot of men are creating content because they don't have no women.
Build a brand.
Yeah, they're trying to get interest. That's why when ladies hear a man talking about a podcast, it's like you and your homeboys gossiping because y'all lame. That's where that really came from. Because a man with emotion not really about to sit on camera for 14 hours talking about, man, LeBron should have passed the ball in the third quarter. I would have. Like, bro, you now scoring 15 points at rec league. How you gonna tell LeBron what to do? So if I'm super dedicated and I can't go through all the content, what do you think the person that is a average fan or not heavy, like business is my life because it controls our lives. What do you think they may go through one episode or something?
Who's your favorite CEO?
Of all time?
Of all time.
Bill Gates, the greatest CEO to ever walk Earth.
Bill Gates.
Absolutely.
Didn't see that coming.
Why?
I don't know.
Bill Gates. And I love Steve Jobs. I love Apple. Man, I've always said it. Steve Jobs couldn't hold Bill Gates' shoes when they were competing against each other.
Well, creatively, I mean, he's just...
They tell Black people and Latins to focus on creativity while they get equity. You notice nobody who runs the world ever said about creativity? That's like when a dude be like, yo, baby, you wifey. No ring coming. You don't pay no bill. That's the finesse.
Right.
You don't get no flowers. Don't get more than 2 minutes. That's a title with no substance. Creativity. You know what's real creative?
Talk to me.
getting 7,000 people to sign to your label or company, and they give over all their rights and willingly do it. That's creative.
Give me Bill. Let's go back to Bill real quick.
Yeah.
Why? Like, give me some aspects about what he's done that's like super impressive.
Amazing strategist. You know the story of like Microsoft wasn't, when it started in Albuquerque, it was not quality, but he stayed in the office. He got them to put his software on other computers and they paid him for it. That's like you having this podcast and then on the lower third banner, it's like watch Drink Champs every week for free. So it was an infection virus-based model. And then once they figured out the licensing part, they took over the world. Like that's creative to get a computer in every home. And for 15 years, Microsoft made no computers. That's genius.
Oh yeah. So that was the antivirus, the Microsoft, something like that, right?
Yeah.
So you have to have that like CD or whatever.
You have to have that software in order for the computer. And the person who's doing it right now in a different industry is Elon. So in 2035, California is banning all gas vehicles. Who do you think is going to be the majority shareholder and winner in that in California? Tesla Motors.
In 2035, California is banning all gas vehicles.
Mm-hmm. Huge mistake. Great lobbying, though. They tell us to focus on creativity. They've been lobbying for that for the last 5 years. It's going to help save the earth. California is having issues with their electric grid now. What do you think is going to happen when everyone in LA is charging up their Tesla while powering up road bikes and black magics to shoot content? California going to catch on fire. You think they're going to put $2 trillion or which is what it would take to like rebuild the nation's grid. You think they're going to be able to have that money and infrastructure in place while we're in a recession? No. So there are certain business models that you have to study. That one, the virus-based model, is to like slowly infect a company or industry or country with an idea slowly and get them to convert over to you without you putting all the capital up for it.
That's why you're saying Elon is doing that in this space, because he just dropped the idea.
If you get California, then if you get Texas and New York, and I mean, look how long we've been talking about energy efficiency for the longest time, and he's the one that made it sexy. Great. Now, if you get Georgia, then Florida. Now, I'm from the Midwest. Now, everyone in the Midwest is going to have to collapse. Now you have an industry for yourself.
Your favorite record exec CEO?
That's a tough one. Black or not black?
Both.
Black, Suge Knight.
Suge
Knight was a genius. He just got led astray.
Not a bully?
He got led astray. But there's a lot of traumas we have to fix, especially being black men. So like when you grow up in harsh environments, being tough is one form of love if you didn't receive that when you were young. And then being made fun, because he really wasn't from that set when he grew up. So he wanted that. And it's very important when you get into power and begin to get money that you have those traumas fixed. Otherwise, that's when you see a lot of people get money and all of a sudden they become tough. And now you got shooters around and now you're getting cases because you were a shooter and you were normally a good kid, right? But you got to think, Suge Knight at one point had $350 million for Death Row with 2 artists. Only one that was really moving the needle was Pocket and Snoop.
Yeah.
Shout out to Corrupt and Daz and that,
Right.
But they were the ones who were moving the needle and had Interscope on lock. The brand that he built, amazing. But not managing things well, not having contingency plans in place, letting the streets get involved into the business, because everybody in the streets want to get out and get into legit business. As far as a non-black, it's a tie between Jimmy Iovine and probably Lucian Grange at Universal. Lucian's another one. He runs the entire industry. If he walked in this beautiful studio that you have, 9 out of 10 people would know who he was.
I wouldn't know.
All the real wealth is silent. All the loud money. And women will tell you, it's like whenever a dude is being too loud in a party or flexing too much, it's usually because he's insecure or he knows that the success that he has is going to go away. So I want to get everything I can from it.
Is that true? You experienced that? Is that true?
Yeah. Like if a dude approached her right now, like, baby girl, I'll take you on vacation and I'll buy you a car. And it's like, if you were of substance, you wouldn't have to do all the vacation is nice, but what hell come with that? It's always a trade-off. So that's why I like the people who are like silent snipers in business and personally. But you can see the people that have the desire for endless media attention, even like a Charlie Sheen, is because they grew up in broken homes and they received that love at home. Most people that are well-rounded, they don't want a lot of camera attention. They just want to focus on the work.
Do you jump into the mental health space? Because I hear you kind of like drip into like kind of like the mental and emotional foundation of like the Black man in our community, and just kind of from a high level.
Yeah.
Do you get into like the mental health space? You got a therapist?
All things are, oh man, you really want a hot take. I think most therapy is overrated, and it is a industry that has been built and preying on us because we won't do the work with ourselves or amongst our family to get better. Now, you know, as a businessman, there's a lot of things that you have to work on yourself before you can get to that level of success. Yeah. So I had to work on the discipline. No therapist can give you self-belief. I tell Christians this all the time. If you are a child of God, how are you fearful to go executing your dream when I know heathens in the streets that never believed in God that execute way faster than you? So worthiness issue. Another person can't fix that for you. Do I think it's a great aid? Yes. I've been lucky enough to have some mentors when I was in college and family to kind of guide me through certain things, but the work has to be done by you. A lot of people leave the therapy office and do no other work. All the work happens when you leave.
Dang, I feel you. Because I don't know too many people who like went to therapy and came back and like the problem is fixed. It seems like, and I like how you said like it's overrated, and yes, they're going to go crazy on the chat.
Shout out to all the therapists. Shout out to Charlamagne. Please buy Shook Ones.
Right.
Get a couple copies. It is a good book. But I think people love to, one of the greatest quotes my mentor told me is like, everyone's always looking for a parent when they become an adult in some area.
Everybody's always looking for a parent when they become an adult.
Even a Red Panda, like I am their father figure when it comes to investing. Build brotherhood, like they need consistency of who to go to. Because when you get into the world by yourself, if you don't have a strong family base, that may be an answer that your parents or family does not have. Usually in business, romance, finances, being a father. I'm still asking my dad questions every day about I ask my dad, like, how the hell did you and my mom even stay just to raise me and my brother? No one tells you how hard fatherhood is until you become a father.
Oh, for sure. Parent with husband. It's a whole,
we don't have enough of those conversations. And I wish we had more of those. Like I would and I know, shout out to my guys that do it like Steph Cole and King Dre, but I would love to see more men talk about marriage, more Black men. Here's how I deal with temptation of cheating. Here's how I deal with friction in the household. That's the content that we really need, not everyone trying to remix Kevin Samuels after he died.
That's see a lot of that right now.
That's nasty, yo.
Yeah, that's
it's
crazy.
Like you weren't high value, man. At no time, your mama told you weren't high value. How you in high value podcast? Like no man has to say that, but I get it. It's a space, but people do that when they don't work on a craft to become good at something. Everyone's in here and everyone watching. Your job is to be the best in the world at something that no one else can do.
Yeah.
That's what all the wins are.
So Steve Jobs, and I was actually talking about this with CJ a couple of years ago. Briefly, I just kind of mentioned it with like Steve Jobs, right? When you're so driven.
Yeah.
There's going to be a trade-off. You're broken in some area, like and I don't know him, so I can't like the rumors, but what they were talking about how he kind of treated his family and his kids and like really just driven, like not even really focused on his kids at all.
Was that the business that did it or how he was raised? Steve was adopted. Steve was raised in a white culture. Steve is not white.
Steve is what?
Google, put in chat, what is Steve Jobs? Stephen Paul Jobs.
Like Italian-ish? I mean, it's white, ain't it? Kinda. Let me see. Steve Jobs.
And this is
ethnicity.
In the 50s, 60s. So the clash in culture.
German.
Is going to be. And what?
German-American, hold on. It's German-American mother. Hold on. Jobs was born in San Francisco to a Syrian father. Oh, and a German-American mother. Okay, so that flies over my head because I'm not 100% sure what Syrian is.
We'll have time to get educated. But when you, I think when
Tell me, what part is that Middle East? Yes?
In San Francisco and California, 50s and 60s, I'm sure it's pretty tough being adopted. And then all the brokenness that you feel. Because, like, trust me, one of the biggest reasons why I spend so much time with my son is, like, people like, he's confident. Confidence in a kid comes from the love that he receives. Because if your parents are not there for you, how can you have friends that love you when the people who created you don't spend time with you and don't love you? So the brokenness that you felt in him came from his childhood, opposed to Gates, who had both parents and home, more stable. So you didn't have the same fiery push from Gates because he had guarantees, like trust, sustainability inside of a household. Even Tupac, single mother, didn't know his dad till later. The fieriness that you feel from him and a lot of the drill rappers usually are from broken or single parent homes. Because if a lot of times, even in the streets, and this is the number one reason why I give out all the information for free, given where I come from, everyone always told everybody in the streets to get off the streets and then tell them how to make money. Huge mistake. But a lot of the times the men in the streets are fighting people that look like their dads because they're upset that their dads were not around. It's a lot of trauma we have to heal.
It is.
First. So the passion that you feel from Steve came from that broken environment. That's what made him be. Like, if you've never seen a blueprint for how to raise kids, then how can you raise your kids well?
I 100% agree with you.
Especially the time he grew up.
There are some people who come from, oh, wow, that's crazy.
60s, 70s, 80s. In the 80s, I'm going to be honest, I never even knew black men in the 90s to talk about their feelings.
Yeah.
Let alone, like, I used to ask my granddad, like, man, what do you do when you sad? He like, son, I work so much, I don't even have the luxury of being sad. Wow. I work, come home. Man, my granddad had 8 kids. Any father, they're like, I asked my dad, like, how the hell did he do it?
Yeah.
So even with work, that's why I'm so appreciative and I never complain about the work. The things that we get to do now seem like lies to our grandparents. When I first told my granddad what I was doing in investing, he like, wait, you can push a button and make money on a box? That's what you call the computer. I'm like, yeah. He was like, son, it would take me maybe 3 weeks to make the kind of money that you're making in the mill. We have to look at like the opportunity that we have, and even in media, I just think most people are using the media wrong and business model is wrong.
Yeah.
But when you become an investor, you get to study every business. So everyone on podcast, and I'm like, hey, you're not invested. Where do you upload your material to? Everyone wants to be number one on. You can be number one on Overcast. You'd rather be number one on Apple, right?
Yeah.
Why aren't you investing there? Which companies are making the equipment that you use? Are you investing there? Most people are not.
Let me ask this question. Out of, you might be like top 5 smartest people I've ever met in my life. This is crazy.
Wow,
like very, very well-rounded in information too. Is there a part of your life that you don't have a handle on?
Oh yeah, the balance part.
Between what and what?
The business and the personal. Like I don't, because technically there's no such thing as balance. I'm slowly starting to figure some of it out. It's like you have to have people on board, even in a relationship, that believe in the mission and vision and they tie into it, opposed to trying to make them believe in the vision. But But the balance of that, I don't have worked out at all.
Yeah.
I'm still dancing, still testing formulas and see what works.
I can imagine that being a challenge. A successful Black man that's super driven, big goals, studies that the craft is so important.
Yeah.
I can imagine it leaves very little room.
It's time. Like, but I've also learned just in my personal relationships, the biggest mistake that I made was picking people who did not believe in me and vision and trying to convert them.
What were you picking them based off of?
Other things. I thought they were a great person, looked good. Maybe the chemistry was great, but chemistry alone is not enough. So if I don't want to say anything bad about anyone that I've dated, I appreciate you and love you all. Thank you for the growth that you've allowed me to experience with you.
He loves you all.
But if you, I was talking to P about this who was in the room. It's like, it's people that I've dated who are mad that I'm here now, but didn't help me build and didn't want to help me build. So it's like, how are you upset? And now you feel like you're missing out. But I'm like, I didn't have the blessings that are coming in because you were around. So the thing that's important in a relationship of any kind, they have to believe. And here's how to know if they believe in you. If you have to ask if they do, they don't. Oh, man, my girl, my girl don't believe in my vision. What should I do? Dog, she's not going to believe no matter how much money you have, what chart you hit. It's just something, and sometimes, and we don't talk about it enough, but you also have to pick a partner that is not competing against you.
That's major.
Huge.
But I think a lot of people, especially I'm in the entrepreneurship space, and they're like, yo, my spouse doesn't believe in my vision. But my advice is they haven't given them anything to believe in.
That's a big point too. If that shit ain't working, take check this out. I'm sorry. You can't be sitting around. But also too, like a lot of times when I see that, men are not in routine enough to make them believe.
Right.
Like,
and they don't believe themselves.
That's
truth
true.
Be told.
That's true. So it's a fine balance, but you have to pick people that just genuinely believe you. Like, even in the space I'm in now, like, and he'll tell you too, like, last relationship versus who I'm dealing with now, night and day.
Oh, you got you one.
Yeah, I'm a little bit cute once a week. So, but just like her belief, willingness to tie in, help. And I posted on Instagram yesterday. I'm like, don't ask people if they need help. Just tell them, here's the 5 things that I'm doing to help you. Because when people ask you need help, they don't want to help you. They just want to stay around for when you elevate to see what they can get from you elevating. Helping people is often hurting the person that helps. I said it before, the biggest mistake and the biggest investing lesson I've learned is that you can give your way into poverty, and helping is really overrated. And most people are like, no, that's not true. But I'm like, we all have helped people too much, and then they end up resenting you over the help that you gave them.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Like how? Even for me, like in the investing community, people are like, oh, I don't like the way I'm like, what? What difference does it make? If you listen to it when I delivered it boring, you would have been rich. I had to learn to spice it up and dress it up and have these moments and think what we're going to be to take, even for editors, because one of my best friends is a photographer. He like, whenever you speak, be the easiest to work with, but have your talking points already so they know when to edit, when to cut. Make their jobs easier. We shouldn't have to do all that.
Yeah.
Here's what to invest in. 2 index funds, VO, VTI, 2 technology companies, Apple, Microsoft. What are you investing in crypto? Bitcoin, Ethereum. Pick a dark horse that you like that's up and coming. Algorand, XRP, you pick. Real estate, pick the top 10 markets to invest in. Investing in business is really easy, but people want it dressed up and palatable. But also too, like if you don't have ownership of your media, of your company, of your time, you have a lot of debt. You can't train your audience how to act and behave with the business. So I see a lot of times, like if I'll say something to the audience, people like, that's wrong. I'm like, no, customer service was originally created for the customers to help the business, not the business to help the customers.
Mm.
So that's where the term custom help serve the business. That is a selection of who you choose to do business with. But if you got $700,000 in debt and you're in a bad deal, you can't tell anyone, hey, chill out, y'all are acting crazy in the comments. Hey, chill out. I don't want y'all cursing at the shows and throwing drinks on each other. And so that's why, because ultimately we all want freedom, but time freedom is most important. We want an easy life, spend time with our family and friends and have a good time.
I guess at some point we should talk about stocks.
Go ahead.
Yo, you're just an interesting person. And
Thank you.
I don't really get a chance. The world doesn't really get a chance to like get to know Ian.
Yeah.
We see his intellect.
Yeah.
And he can call the shots, but you are a
that's another hidden asset too. Like there's certain things I won't do on camera because I'm saving them for other projects.
Can you give me an example?
I mean, even with the Wild and Out thing, people
No,
like,
you just see he's looking at him like.
I mean, like even with the jokes, like at some point I'm going to do like a full comedy set called Dad Joke King.
Really?
Yeah, because like my son's like, oh, you got all the corniest dad jokes. I love you. I'm like, I'm gonna turn that into something.
Really?
Yeah.
Give me a dad joke. Let me get one.
I can't. I wish I
Give
could.
me one.
I can't.
You got one on you.
I can't. I gotta save it.
We gotta say it after the show.
Yeah, after the show.
just for the live studio audience.
Like, but yeah, there's certain assets. I feel like people show too, especially in this era, people show too much too soon to be seen because they have no leverage, no equity, no acumen, no business model. Girls are getting up showing everything. So swipe up and subscribe for $4.99. I'm like, you gonna show me your whole birth canal for $30 a month? Jesus. Damn, Playboy wasn't making you do that back in the day. But that is even right now. Shout out to Akonajum, like she posted, OnlyFans is now laying off some of their team so they can go through restructuring. Meanwhile, the founder of the company has collected $400 million in profits over the last 2 years.
Okay, now he's out.
So now, but what did he do? He studied Hugh Hefner's model, and he said, what if I can have a digital version of Playboy? Which he tried to sell them. They didn't want it.
Oh, wow.
Big mistake.
Netflix Blockbuster vibe.
What's the number one reason why Blockbuster went out of business? Debt. Everyone Google right now, how much debt does Netflix have? Gonna suffer the same fate of your predecessor.
Yo, yeah, because I heard they don't make money. Like Netflix doesn't make money, right?
Hard to.
Netflix total debt stood at $14.5 billion.
With a B. Billion
At
dollars.
the end of March.
Okay.
At the end of March, 2022.
Let's say I went to the east side of Atlanta, right? And I was like, cuz, I got an idea. I'm going to make movies for $150 million. And then I'm going to do like some TV shows that cost $300 million. But we going to charge people $9 a month for it. We going to get rich. They're going to be like, man, get your ass out of here. Like, the business model is broken. It was great when it started. Reed Hastings, of course, is always mentioned. The other co-founder that's rarely mentioned is Sigmund Freud's grandson. So the psychological programming, that part he had down. The DVD model, great. When you went to streaming and infrastructure costed more. When you were licensing material from Marvel and Disney, worked well. Now, when Disney says, I'm going to take my material away, and so does Marvel, now you have to make your own content. It blows up your business model. So in everything that you do, you have to know what could tear apart your business, what are your 3 biggest weaknesses, and what are the 3 biggest strengths you have above everyone else. Because a lot of times when people go out of business, they're like, I couldn't see it happening. I'm like, you were selling $100 million movies for $9. How long do you think that is going to work? A subscription model is only good if the costs are low in the business or the acquisition of the asset or the filming. So you have a competitor like Google where they'll pay you out if you get a bunch of views. But for a while, Joe Rogan show and Andrew Schultz show and Mr. Beast and Ryan Tour reviews cost nothing. No editing costs. They didn't have to buy a camera. Didn't have to go through a DaVinci Resolve. Nothing. No MacBooks. Great, we'll pay you if you make some profit. So now you have Google and also Apple. They finally won a big award, an Academy Award this year. They're going to put more money into programming. Now you have Paramount Plus, HBO Max, Tubi. You have the entire world circling to take your kingdom. And it's hard to defend that with all that debt, and you're only charging $14 a month with no incredible content. So anybody in here, name me 10 Netflix shows that you love.
I can't name 10. I don't understand much Netflix. Money Heist is my joint.
I like Stranger Things.
All right.
That's 2 answers.
Right.
That's tough.
That's tough. You know what, though? It seems as if Airbnb or Uber would have a flawless business model, right? Because they don't have to buy the cars, but they don't make no money either.
So when you begin taking money on from venture capitalists, you have to be very careful. This is why I tell every owner, if you don't have any money, what person is going to give you money and let you get rich for free off of their money and become as rich as them? It's a pipe dream. Every business is a version of a record label. You just have to choose whether you want to be on the artist side or on the banking and funding side. Every record label is a hedge fund. It's a bank.
But they should be making money, though,
Why?
if it doesn't cost them anything. I mean, if they took money on.
If they took money on, that's a big issue. And you haven't gotten a return yet. And then if the price of the stock hasn't elevated. Airbnb is a good model. I just think when you take on so much debt, it's hard to pay that off to get to zero. Going back to why having no debt is good in a business. Because guess what? If, let's say I'm a venture capitalist from California and I'm not Black, and I'm not calling them vultures, I'm just giving for an illustration. And I love your podcast. And I'm like, we can take this national. And I just want the audio rights. You can have visual. And I'm going to take you to Australia, Japan, China. We're going to have a version in China of Social Proof. But I'm going to give you the money to expand. You can have 700 employees worldwide. And I give you $160 million. But I need 22% of the business. And if you don't get my 120 back in 4 years now, I own 80%. What are you going to do?
Is that how the businesses are structured?
A lot of them are.
It's like inflated equity?
Same with a record label. Like if I get $500,000 from Rawkus Records back in the day, and then I don't recoup the $500,000. Let's say if I owe them $150, they'll tack the $150 onto the new album, give me another $500, and I'm $650 in a hole, and haven't recouped. What am I going to do? Now, guess what? Never get my masters back, never get my publisher. Every business is the same. It's happening in tech. It's happening in podcasting. We've seen what happened at Barstool. Girls created a great show.
Call her daddy.
One girl got 60 million, other girl got screwed. How do you create something and create that fanfare, get a valuation of 60 million, and you get nothing out of it? Because of creative differences. Going back to creativity. Creativity is the opposite of equity.
Because someone has to be thinking business.
And at the same time, I tell Weezy all the time when I show horrible decisions, how do they get 60 and then y'all don't at least get 5 million? It's crazy.
Is it a black-white thing?
Of course.
Or is it a listenership thing? Did they have...
They have listen, not the same listen, but it was the same. But also, too, if you don't have money coming in on your own fast enough, you can't, there's a certain way you can't negotiate.
Yeah.
So creatives and artists think that the artistry is enough. The artistry is a foot into the door. The business part is what is going to sustain you. And when you learn all these models, that's when you become a great investor. Every business person is already an investor. You're trading time for money every day. You're trading industry opportunity for another industry opportunity, but they'll tell us we don't have time to. But I'll see people out at the club and at the strip club and come to Atlanta, I'll see a lot of Balenciaga, Bally, Gucci. Y'all got time to go sit in the mall 2 hours and wait? How don't you have time to study the models that are controlling you and running your life? If I ask any black person, what's your favorite clothing brand? What's your favorite electronic vehicle? Your favorite sneak? We got answers that quick.
Yeah.
That's the investing roundtable.
Favorite
right there.
Jay-Z verse. Favorite album.
Easy. Who your favorite girl from the South Side? Who your favorite one that went to Spelman? Man, I remember back in the day, boy, I used to go to AUC and we got all the stories until getting, it's like, I don't know. No, we know. We just don't want to be accountable to it. And you can be, what I want to do is like, more than anything is show our people that you can be a great investor and still be yourself and have fun and have personality.
That's crazy. Yeah, we're gonna have to do like a part 2, Ian. I mean, we gotta at some point we gotta talk about stocks, bro.
We're talking about stocks now. Let's go through them.
Well, we gotta wrap. We've been here. It's been a strong 90 minutes.
My goodness, how long you normally film?
60.
For real?
Yeah, this was good.
Man, I appreciate it.
This was good. For one, will we have a link for Red Panda?
Yeah, if you want me to, I'll make one for you.
And I don't know how you feel about it, but can my friends that want to be investors have like a discount code?
Yeah.
Yes. Social proof. Just make it social proof.
I got you.
Thank you. And I actually just asked people, I don't know what the answer is going to be. Typically, people are like, yeah, no problem. But yeah, just make the code social proof. My vision is for people to go to a course and just try social proof and it works.
That's
you know what I mean?
fire.
That's just just try social proof. It might work. You never know.
Yeah.
And I think, especially after Ian has poured into you all for over an hour and a half, support yourself. This is 40,000 people following someone on a platform, not on Instagram. Those numbers aren't real, but somebody has to make a decision.
Say that part again, please.
Well, those numbers aren't real. Yeah, sometimes I look at my numbers and they're not real. I got let's say 250,000 followers. Some of my posts, 2,000 views. I didn't buy any followers, but it's not real. It's like,
be more creative. Make more reels. It's not the answer.
It's not the answer. You gotta be locked in, man. So Ian, thank you so much, man.
I appreciate you, man.
We actually already did. Thank you, brother.
I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
Evolution, your humility. I want you to put the foot on the gas on the marketing.
Yes, sir.
But what you built here, the visuals, quality of content, it's not easy, man. We was marveling. We were sitting there. I'm like, you inspired me. I'm like, man, I'm going to have you come consult in Houston and help me build something out. So I can
come on, I'm there.
Yeah.
You've helped me. You don't know. You probably helped me make $10 million today. Like this interview. It's just stuff going on.
When we talk split stands, then how much of that 10 I get?
It's a figurative 10 million.
See? My man learned how to be a vulture.
Come on, man.
Vulturing 101. Lior would never give you this. Shout out Lior. Even with that, I'm be real, we could wrap up here. Even like with Vlad, Gary Vee, get it, Lior. I'm like, create more than the vultures. I don't see nobody in the rap space put out more clips than Vlad.
Yeah.
Not one. Vlad just took over our community. Maybe if other rappers had a platform to go to and the content came out consistently, Vlad wouldn't be around.
Yeah.
Adam 22 wouldn't be around.
Yeah, it worked everybody.
And still doing it. And is not a great interviewer. Great processes though.
Yeah.
Same audio, same stinger in the beginning, same clip format, same guest, same questions. Everything is about systems, not creativity.
Yo, I think we just need to do an interview like every few months just as
I'm good with that. And maybe we actually talk stocks next time.
Yes, we're going to talk stocks. Listen, Ian has a bunch of stuff online where you see him talk about stocks. He's clearly the GOAT. Yes. Is that a GOAT, Shay?
Yeah. My guy P got it for me for my birthday.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
You know what? When's your birthday?
August 1st.
Cool. I think I'm going to get you the little crystal ball joint.
That'd be
little crystal ball. You need a crystal ball pendant because I don't think people understand the challenge with saying, this is where a stock is going in the future.
Yep.
There's only one book in the world that's been able to do that, and that's like the Bible. Like it says, it's a prophecy. This is going to happen years later.
Then what is that worth? What's the valuation of that?
At least 100,000. We're gonna let you get in Red Panda for 10,000. That's lit.
Catch on to me because when I get in this meeting with Goldman and Citadel, we're gonna be out of here. Shout out Meta.
I love it. Yo, listen, man. Thank you so much, bro.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. I appreciate you being here and continuing to pour out for free for the community.
Of course.
You've been helping so many people, especially our culture, because it wasn't. People didn't understand what a stock is, including myself. We just see You know what's crazy? I used to watch CNBC and I would watch Kramer because it made me feel smart, but I had no idea what he was talking about.
Yeah.
I had no idea. People are calling and say, hey, what about this and that? And he says this and that. And I'm like, ooh, wow. I don't know what to do with it, right?
And that was my thing. And I love Jim, but they were talking to people who were already in financial high school. We were in kindergarten.
Yeah.
So when I'm like, hey, a stock's trash, that's how we'll talk about an album.
Yeah.
And it's another thing I want everyone to know, like, be comfortable being yourself. Because if I were to pitch anybody, okay, I'm going to do an investing show, and I'm going to curse, and I'm going to use urban colloquialisms, and it's going to work there, be like, no, bro. Apple, great. Apple's like LeBron or Jordan. Microsoft's like, pick whoever you're set, Kobe, right? Arc, was a bust. Like, be comfortable in talking to your community how you currently talk. Because whether people know it or not, they can feel if you're real.
Yeah, 100%.
So just be comfortable being you while you're creating, master your craft, and tune in to Market Mondays every Monday. And go to joinredpanda.com. Check me out.
I love it. Oh, I got to ask this question too. Hey, Reese, stop that clock. It's going to beep at 99 minutes. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? And the reason I'm asking the question is so that I can watch this 5 years from now and I can say, Ian said he'd be doing that 5 years ago.
Yeah.
He's doing it.
Want the real answer?
The real answer.
2027. I should be helping every major company in every country on the face of the earth grow either GDP or top line revenue.
What's GDP?
The gross domestic product of a country. Like the actual revenue for the country.
Dang.
Yeah.
You're gonna run for like office? Like politics?
Never.
That would be a
mistake.
Why? On whose part?
Man, all my little exes gonna come out. This what he used to say to me. He's not what y'all think he is.
They pulling out all text messages.
So no. Shout out to my exes, love you. Keep those receipts in, right? But politicians don't have the control. The people who lobby are the ones who have the control.
So why don't you be a lobbyist? If that's not your passion either, but
I think there are some things that are more important than being. And lobbying is important. There's some things I may lobby on, but I really want to be in the back, and I want to be less visible too. I want people to be like, man, what the hell happened to that Ian guy? What? This is the part of creating content. Sound's gonna go off. You got to just play with it and enjoy it, right? But I want to be less visible, and people be like, what happened to him? That's when I go like radio silent. That's when you'll know, like, and radio silent successfully. I'm working with all the companies I want to. But more importantly, I just want to have peace with my friends and family. Like, I think every business should have your friends and family and the people that you like. And this feels like play. It doesn't feel like work. That's how I should feel. But I want to help a lot of companies grow and, put that crystal ball in. And there's a few companies right now going through a recession that need some help. And for everyone watching, if you're a content creator or business owner, the recession is a time to really dial in. Like Grant built his following off of what he did in the recession.
Yeah.
People are paying attention. When people are hurting, they're looking for solutions. So 5 years, hopefully I'm working with the royal family in Saudi, and all the top 100 tech companies are my clients. And,
Jeez. Real big. Yo, listen, man, thank you so much, Ian, bro. Please let everybody know how they can find you. And then you got to close this out with a word of wisdom, okay? So we'll have a link for them to register for your trading platform.
Mm-hmm.
I think I need to sign up. And I need to focus because I'm really big on making money without my face. Because I say some things that people don't agree with.
Oh boy, do we both?
And I don't want to affect my money. You know what I mean?
You got to be cancel proof.
Yeah, cancel proof.
Got to be cancel proof.
You have that domain?
No. Well, we can go partnership on it.
Yeah.
That's partnership on
cancel proof. Oh, that's spicy.
Where they can find me? JoinRedPanda.com, Instagram @TheMasterInvestor. You can see me every Monday on Market Mondays with the guys Rashad and Ernie Leisure. I got a couple of shows coming out too. Yeah, Wealth Theory will be out soon.
Wealth Theory?
Yeah.
Okay.
The deep end will be out soon. Trading After Dark. That's going to be great. It's going to be great. Shout out to the ballerinas at Girl Collection. We're going to probably do season 1 in Girl Collection.
I love it. All right, close us out with a word of wisdom, man. There's somebody here watching, and they're saying, yo, I don't have the discipline to do what Ian does. I'm not smart enough to do what Ian does, but I do want to be successful. Give them a word of wisdom.
Oh, man. It's a lot of pressure. You are worthy of it. You do deserve it. You are smart enough to do it. The only thing that is holding you back is your fear, but you have 2 options. You can go down a path and give your all and be dedicated to your craft and manifest the success that you want, or you can choose to be lazy, go down the path that most people go down, and end up being depressed. What I see seriously amongst men post 32, 33, when a man has not materialized what he wanted to do, a lot of the depression that is plaguing our community comes from not achieving enough. Both paths are hard. My dad always told me, being broke is hard. Being rich is hard. You got to pick one.
Yeah.
Go down the path of prosperity if that's what you want to do. Yeah.
I love that. Listen, man, you can't close it out no better than that. Do yourself a favor, man. Go follow Ian. Join Red Panda. Let's go build wealth. And finally, listen, go get you some social proof, meaning go build something.
Yes.
Go build something. But it's important, vital, that you come back to your community and teach others how you did what you did. All right? We are out of here. Peace.